Okay, and we're live. Thank you everybody for hopping on. I'm live with Coach Jalynn. How are you doing today?
Doing well, doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. So I'll start with a brief intro, and then if I leave anything out, I'm sure I will. But feel free to add on. So, Coach, how long you been coach?
So I've actually been coaching, business coaching full throttle for 2 years, but
Mhm.
I've been in the coaching industry for 7 years. I started as a career coach.
Wow. Okay, so Coach Jalynn has been coaching for 7 years. Before that, you worked in sales in corporate America, and you've been able to leverage your experience with corporate America and bring it into your own business. Um, Specialize in helping Black and Brown women grow their businesses from 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 figures and beyond. I know you also call yourself the compassionista of sales. Can you explain that title a little bit?
Yeah, so the main thing is I came from a healthcare setting. And one thing I realized in a healthcare setting is that people still sold healthcare products and services like the same way a person would sell a vehicle. So, like, I don't know if you've ever felt like you went to a car dealership and they hung the moon and, talked about all the bells and whistles, like that sleazy car salesman stereotype that there is. I oftentimes felt like that's the same persona of sales personality that's taught in healthcare. And when I got into healthcare, I decided not to bring the sleazy, way of selling hospice into the industry. I decided to win with compassion, and I do the same in business. I think about people, and I only sell to people that need my services versus just selling anyway. So I think of myself as a compassionate salesperson.
Hmm. Yeah, I like that. And I think I'm the same way to an extent. Like I definitely don't believe in providing legal services. Okay, you or you're not good, you know. 'Cause it also saves along with being at the same time, and I think kind of have about us too that we're just and we just suck your money and suck your blood. You know what I mean? Um, so I try to just get out. So thank you. But I've known Jalynn for I think it's been a year over a year now because I was pregnant
Yeah,
when we started
yeah.
working together. And I always tell this story. When I first started working with Jalynn, she was my coach, or she is my coach. And but when we were working together, she was like, "Okay, let me see your price list," and I was like, "Price list," and I had services that were like $150, and she was like, "Did you go to law school?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like, yeah. And so she just definitely helped me to just reform vision, my business, starting with my, what I didn't realize was I really couldn't do the work that I wanted to do without charging the price that I need to charge. Um, went live earlier. I want you to talk about that a little bit because I didn't have a chance to watch it, but you were talking about um, something about Black businesses being overworked and underpaid. And that's exactly what I was. And I still find myself in that sometimes. It's like I have to step away and be like, okay, why do I have all these assignments, but it's not equating to, what I see in our cash flow. So I think we feel like we're out of it, but we can get stuck back in. I don't know if that's a
Absolutely.
I don't know if it's mindset. I don't know if it's the ebbs and flow of business or what. But I know I've learned a lot about just the cycle of business. I've been in business. Okay, January, people not really wanting services that much, and then after taxes, it's like then back to school time, August. People don't really want stuff and take care of their kids, And so I'm also just learning a lot about the cycle of business, but I see like even though there's cycles in business, we have to have a consistent mindset because the mind
Absolutely.
is what is going to get us from one cycle to another. So,
Absolutely. All of that.
yes, yes. So what was your live about today?
So my live today was actually about everything that it seems like is being covered in the boot camp. It was about things that create bottlenecks in black-owned businesses, and these things lead to black-owned businesses not being able to have the things that they know that they need, like their intellectual property, their contracts, their team development, like all these elements that you're really wanting to squeeze through in this boot camp is so important. And the reason why most black-owned businesses plummet or have some issue with their operations is because they operate as a solopreneur when their business model calls for something that's more agency level or firm, or like it takes a team and you're only one person and you're wondering why your business isn't working, and it's not your fault. It's not your fault because most people aren't telling you what it looks like to build that team and what it looks like to refocus what you're investing in to actually create the business that you desire to have that has an exit strategy as well. So we talked about all of that. It's actually going to be a part 2 tomorrow too, because there was an agency owner on the call who's like, I got to get into this conversation. So we were just talking about the bottlenecks of black-owned businesses and what keeps us under or over 6 figures.
So I know I need a team. I want a team, but I can't pay my team. With
And that's one thing we talked about too, because there's this facade that the internet will put off when people say my team. But most people overthink that statement. They overthink that statement and they assume team must mean they're paying out a lot of money to have support, and that's not always what that means.
mm-hmm.
There are people, I was just looking at a status the other day. There's this girl that shared a resource that's like project-based, $8 an hour, virtual assistants and virtual assistants and like social media assistants, $8 an hour, paid by the hour. Like there's so many different gems out there, but you have to be like connected and in network to learn about these gems. But our average 7-figure business, and even let's go beyond 7 figures. Let's go to the fact that there are 8-figure companies that work with very cheap labor to maintain their profits.
Mm-hmm.
This is business formula 101. So in order for black-owned businesses to really get past the hump of thinking that they're not ready for a team, just figure out what you are. Like if you look at the things you need to delegate, figure out what you can do. Like I think it's all about like phasing your growth. I brought on several team members at one time, and that actually doesn't work because all those people need to be onboarded. So just starting with the most important thing that needs to be delegated that's connected to your bottom line is the first place to start, because that will make more money if that person is running efficiently, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. So I know at the boot camp you're going to be discussing mindset. So what's the definition of mindset, and can you talk about some changes in our mindset that we need to be intentional about as we're going on our journey as entrepreneurs?
Yeah, so honestly, what the 7 keys to a 7-figure mindset is actually the dope thing about this conversation is the 7 keys map out your entire business journey and business model. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I call them the 7 keys to a 7-figure mindset is because before $1 million business is built, the business owner has to have a mindset that they're building a 7-figure business. So before the 7 figures comes, the 7-figure business is built. And I don't think a lot of people realize that like the building that has to take place for your company to be able to sustain 7 figures, to sustain that workload, to sustain that type of team, to sustain that type of visibility, is your business currently set up for that level of growth. And where it really starts at is in our mind. And most people refer to this as mindset. I like to call it identity. And the reason why I refer to mindset as identity is because most black and brown people, we have the elements of mindset that we need, but it's our identity that we're troubled and challenged with. So that's what stops us from going to the next level. All of us, we know, especially those of us who have been to school, like your pricing wasn't a mindset issue. It was a limitation of identity. Once you reshaped your identity, you were able to reshape your pricing. So was it that you didn't know you went to law school and you didn't know how much you were valued, or was it just a matter of me walking in my identity of being worth this and more, giving me the confidence and the strategy to put the pricing out there and to even be people to be receptive to it and to pay it without a question asked? So we'll be talking about all these things because in order for them to make seven figures, like you and I, the same path that we're on, in order for you to be on this path, you have to be at a certain place mentally and from a financial perspective and from an offer suite perspective and from a social selling perspective to actually make that seven figures come to pass. So that's what the 7 keys to a seven-figure mindset is about. It's a business model, internal and external business model.
Wow, I love that. Well, I'm really excited to hear about that because that mindset, like we're constantly in our mindset as a mother is always reforming. As I get older, go to different milestones. I'm like, okay, now I have to be more about it, but I have the same foundation.
Yes.
Foundation's the same, but that I and I need to grow that I with this so be reforming. And it really does go back to identity
It
because
does.
if I believe what God is right, then I wouldn't question, you know, at all. And so you're absolutely right. It goes back to me. And that always so.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, well, I want to open it up to questions. If any questions, feel free to comment. I do going too long because I don't want you giving away the secrets for our boot camp. Just if you guys haven't heard, our boot camp is August 6th at Georgia State College of Law. So downtown, that's a very beautiful building. And we'll have Jalynn with have other really excited about it. Um, do you have any last parting words, Jalynn?
I just want to see everybody who has big vision, who knows that you don't have what you need right now, to really map out the business that you know is a multi 6 and 7 figure company. You want to be at this boot camp. It's very seldom that you see an attorney having an intensive.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the most important people on your team as a business owner will be to have an attorney. And so to get in the room with not just like no shade, but not with a coach, I'm a business coach, not just solely with a business coach, but with the actual person that's going to help you sustain the wealth that the business coach helps you get, you want to be in that room. Mm-hmm. This is what there's a business coach for getting the money. There's a legal counsel for keeping and protecting your money.
Yes.
And if you want to go to the next level, you have to do as the rich do. And the rich have legal counsel.
It sure
My
do.
favorite thing to say is my attorney blank.
Listen, is it on Zoom? I'm ready.
Okay?
Yeah.
So definitely get in this room. This is going to be so good. You get the best of both worlds. You get the making the money and keeping the money all in one space. You got a CPA. You got your whole thank you, Jesus, for this. Thank you. He just downloaded to me and said, for those of you all who are looking for a team, your team is in the room. If you look at the lineup, it's a
Yes.
team. So if you can't afford to pay $50,000 for the rest of the year for all of these people, get the $50,000 of value for $997 in the room.
Yes.
Get the thing that will sustain you and propel you forward. So very excited to be a part of the team.
Yes. Yes. I'm gonna start using that. The team you need is in the room. I love it so much.
That's it.
Yes. Well, I'm not gonna keep you long. I know you're a busy woman, so I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for joining me today, and we'll chat soon.
See you soon.
All right. Bye.
All righty. Bye.